Actually, this fort has a very big stone wall, and already I've shown you the gateways. There are many gateways here which you need to cross to reach the fort. And this fort has actually many domes, and these are practically the remains which are left out from the early medieval period, and they believe it is built in the 11th century, and some say they may even be older. So many a times this was actually attacked by Mughals, and for a certain period this was under the control of Mughals. But however, this fort has got a Shiva temple inside the fort, and in addition to this, there is also four kinds of mahals inside this fort actually, and one is the Badal Mahal and Rohini Mahal and Itradan Mahal and Hawa Mahal. These four mahals are considered to be inside this fort. But however, this is in a kind of very damaged condition. The fort is not in that great condition. However, you can see that still the temple is in a good condition, and people do come here and worship in this temple. Now I'm trying to show you the close-up view of that particular temple, and inside this you have a shivling. You can see that. I'm trying to show that to you. And this temple has been very beautifully built, and you can see huge stones which are holding as pillars this particular temple. This temple has got a very good view, and what you see is the entry to the fort. The temple is outside the fort actually, and now we are going to enter into this particular fort from the temple. And you can see the beautiful architectural capability of people in those olden days. You can imagine, where there was no transportation, no light, nothing was there practically. At that time they made all these constructions, which is quite surprising. And now you can see a small canteen here. This is what I was mentioning in my earlier part. And here you can buy some snacks if you want to, and you can get some water if you want to. Very few items were available there. Now let us enter into this fort and see what is there inside this. Practically, the remains are there in this fort now. Nothing big, but still, you can understand how difficult it could have been to construct such a huge structure long back. It is believed that the pilgrims who visit this temple are granted the boon they want. And now I am trying to show you a overall view of this particular fort. It's really very huge, I'd say. And I did go during a summer season, and it was very hot and practically it was dry, and I was forced to drink water frequently because of this climatic conditions. And in between, they have placed boats which tell you about this place. Even those boats were in a pretty much damaged condition. So to get some information, we have to search in the internet, or we need to ask people who were there. And this is the structure what they show here. Even with a very limited ambit of imagination, you can see how beautiful this place could have been, say around 11th century or maybe even 10th century. And with stone, they had built all these things where there was no absolutely excellent technology or other things. You can see the tomb here. I'm trying to zoom that and show it to you. Actually, these were existing buildings long time back. This was a live fort many years back. But now it is practically a dead fort. Nobody lives here.
Let us get inside and see what is there inside this particular place. This seems to be quite dark, but let us go inside and see what is there. This is a really very old fort, and you can see that this is made of stone and there are pillars standing to support this structure. And at the top of it, you can see how they have made the structure very beautiful by using their ability and skill of architecture. From outside, it looked very dark, but when I went inside, it was quite bright. This kind of barren land now, But the fort is still being protected by the archaeological department even today. And there are no restrictions and there are no entry fee. You can peacefully travel. You can stay there as much time as you want. Now, what we are seeing is nothing but ruins of what it was some years back, many centuries back, I would say. And this is how the structure looks from inside. This was pretty much confusing to me because there are so many different kinds of entries and exits. So, if a person by mistake enters into this place and he doesn't know how to come out, he'll get caught inside the fort. And this is a very beautiful thing you can see. You can see the open sun or moon from this particular point. They have made a dome with a particular round shape, maybe for sunlight and moonlight to come in. And you can see these could have been rooms, maybe in the 10th century or 11th century, or maybe even big, big mahals in those times. But still, now it is not that great because of the condition in which it is, because it was attacked so many times by Mughals. However, they retained the value of this place. In fact, this place was handed over by the Mughals to the Britishers. Then Britishers were maintaining this place actually, and the terrain is also not that easy. For old people, it might be difficult even to climb this minor change in the terrains. Now I'm going to enter into the main area of this particular fort. This is actually a big hall, I presume, and the walls are really very high. Maybe this could have been a two-storied building, I believe so. Now that may not be the case since it is completely in a damaged condition. And you can see the windows, how they made the windows, and there are steps also to climb down. And you can see how many pillars this particular fort has. Just try to imagine how this could have been in the 10th century or in the 11th century. Just see the beautiful windows and the placement of windows. This has complete airflow. And I'm going to try to enter into this particular place. This seems to be quite dark. Let me see if there is any option to climb and reach the upper floor. I'm just trying to see if there is any option. I don't find any stairs here. So let me try if something is available somewhere else. I really don't find any stairs here. Anyway, if there are no stairs to climb, I'll show you the other places which are available there. For those who have seen this movie called as Padmavati, which is a Hindi movie, you would have seen that the queen conducts a jauhar, like where they self-immolate themselves in a huge place. And this seems to be like that. There are steps to get down, just climbing down the steps. And let me see what is there inside this place. And this could be the place, I believe, where Jauhar was committed, where the women self-immolated themselves. They made a very, very big fire. They got into that fire and they killed themselves. I'm trying to climb down further and reach that place where it is believed that the women self-immolated themselves. The steps are really steep, so you need to be extremely careful when you climb down these steps. And this is the big place where I believe or I presume that they could have committed that self immolation. Really, really very huge place. Now you can see how the walls were built to protect this fort. These are the walls which protect the fort. I would say like the outer boundary walls. The walls are really very thick. This is the rock which is used. You can see like all of them are made of nothing but rocks. I'm trying to climb and see like what is there inside this place. Let me go inside. The archaeological department is trying to protect this. Now I crossed this place and I reached another place. This is actually a flat structure, which I believe like they might have had some shows or something like that in this place. This is a very, very beautiful view, I'd say. Very calm and serene environment. And practically, I did not see anyone in this place when I was taking videos of this place. Some walls are absolutely damaged, some are partly damaged. The pillars were still intact. And you can see that they have laid down all these stones here. Maybe the archaeological department will place them at the right place at a later stage, I believe so. And these may have been like mahals, I believe. You can see the stones or the pillars are still intact. Even to walk, it took so much time. And inside, you can see the entire view of the fort. If you stand inside it, there is a place where you can see the entire view of the fort. I'm trying to venture to various places inside the fort, one by one. I'm now climbing the steps to see what is there. They have built it in such a way that a person who is not acquainted with this fort, if he comes inside, it will be difficult for him to get out. Now it may be easy because it is completely open, but maybe in the beginning stage that would have not been the case. I'm trying to climb further and see what is there on the top floor. Wow, this is really beautiful. Imagine today it's like this, and in olden days how it could have been. Even now it is so beautiful. It would have been extremely beautiful in those olden days, I believe. And this is again another place which is actually protected by way of gates. And now I'm going to show you how they protect things inside this fort. You can see a small place where they protect all these things. Actually, the archaeological department has locked this place so that people don't go inside. And this is again another structure. This is also, I believe, could have been a mahal. The cannons you see here are made out of cast iron, and these used to be very powerful ones at their time. And this is practically the outer structure where they place the cannons. In case if enemies come, they will fire using these cannons. The cannons are placed in a higher level so that they can use this for shooting. Still, they are preserving it now. The cannons are not in use now. Actually, one of these cannons was made in a Turkish factory in 17th century, and this particular part is absolutely intact. Majority of them were in a fine condition. Rainwater harvesting was prevalent in those olden days as well. The people used to collect the water from the top, like the roof, and then it used to get collected in the drain nearby, which people used to use. And it is this place where I could see some people. Otherwise, in many other places, people were not there. And here, inside this particular place, you will see a tree which is quite greenish, which is quite surprising to me. Top of the mountain, there is no rain, there is no water, but still the tree was greenish. Now you are seeing a dargah inside this fort actually, and it is believed that it is of Muslim saint Hazrat Pir Fatehul Shah. This temple is believed to fulfill the wishes of the pilgrims. And you can see how they have constructed this particular place many years back. At least this part is kind of preserved by the archaeological department to a greater extent. This is the breathtaking view from the top point of this particular fort. This is actually a really beautiful view. Person who love trekking will really enjoy this place. Many of the places are closed now. People are not permitted to go inside and watch. So I'm trying to show it from the outside point. There is a really big pond where they store the water which was obtained by way of rain harvesting. And I'm going to show you that particular pond now. And there is a pond, you can see that pond, it is a really very huge pond, and Hindi they call it as talab, and here they preserve the rainwater, and from here even today the people take water, purify it, and then they drink it. You can see people carrying the water. This is actually a really good place, and you can see how the people have been living in 10th century or maybe even more than that, and what was the Hindu-Muslim conflict and how the Muslims conquered these forts. All these things are very important aspects in history which we need to know. Now I'm going out of this fort, and I thank you for supporting me all these days by watching all these videos. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe the channel. More very good videos are coming up, and these videos speak about the history of India and so many things you can learn about India by watching all these videos.